You are now listening to the Life in Football podcast. Check out the new website, lifeinfootball.com. Once again, the website is lifeinfootball.com. Thanks for listening.
This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. This is a new day to live your life. This is a new day to try to get right. This is a new day to get on track. Yeah, that's life in football. It's life in football. We are life in football.
Welcome to the Life in Football podcast, baby. I'm your host, Mike Feet.
And this your co-host, Colin Moore. You know we loving life and enjoying football.
Top-notch ballers all around the world. Top-notch ballers all around the world. Today we got a very special guest on by the name of Maurice Stovall. He did it at Notre Dame. He did it in the NFL. He was a big-time receiver out there putting it down, baby. And I'm telling you, man, he done did it all, and he still pointing in to the young guys and the young people in the community, man. And this guy was a person of integrity, and he handled business as a professional, man. And he did it not just, like I said, in the NFL, but he did it in college. And see, this is something that we got to get for as athletes, have that solid foundation. And then, just like he giving young guys game, now he got people who gave him game. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let C-Mo bring him on.
How you doing, Maurice?
Pretty good, brother. Pretty good. Thank y'all for having me today. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
It's a blessing to have you on, man. How I seen you was, I've been knowing you, bit.
Yes, sir.
Well, not personally, but for sports-wise, you know, we locking down on football. We know everything coming through.
Absolutely.
From our grade level to older or younger, we know. So I've been seeing you football-wise, but then when I seen you recently you was on there, man, pouring back into the youth, man. I was like, dog, he giving them all the stuff that they need to be successful in life, whether you playing ball or not. So I want to know what made you want to do that, because you didn't have to. You could do anything, but you chose to come back and, like, man, give to the youth and bless their lives going forward.
You know, it's not just one answer to that.
Mm.
You know, it's twofold. Like, growing up, you always had old heads in the community. You know, fortunately, I had a father in my house.
Mm.
So I've always, like, seeked wisdom and looked for that even as a kid.
Right.
So I've always appreciated even, you know, the old bros on the block saying things that you shouldn't do, but it's wisdom. You know, looking up to upperclassmen as a student athlete, they telling you things to help you get better. Random coaches or even a random fan or a parent can tell you something that's going to help you get better. So I feel like, you know, even me as an adult, but even more so as a father, now it's like our job as men, you know, to pour wisdom into the youth, or for anybody for that matter. Because I firmly believe, like the words say, wisdom come to all ages.
Right.
You know, so it's not just coming from an adult. But fortunately for me to have gone through the whole process of Pop Warner football, middle school, high school, college, and now, you know, fortunately to play in the pros, I understand everything that you'll go through, you know. Being an athlete, you guys know, is not easy. You got to earn your spot.
Yeah.
You know, so I always try to tell guys, football is like a bad relationship. No matter how much you love her, she's not going to love you back the same. No matter how much time you give to her, time away from your family, how much of your body you give to her, how much of your money, all the things you sacrifice, she'll never love you back the same. So be prepared when she break up with you. It's not going to be when you're ready.
Yeah.
Right? Like Chris Brown saying, ain't never a good time to break up.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You know? So that's what I try to tell the youth. You know, I feel like it's easy to say, oh, work hard and do good in school and stay out of trouble. When you gonna make it. That's not true.
Right.
You can break your knee tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, what are you going to get from this game that you can take from it? And, you know, listen, when people come in and talk to you, listen and receive something. You ain't got to receive everything, but absorb some of that, because that could help you on your way.
Right.
You know, so I'm even with my son, I tell him the same thing. I'm like, you got to play ball just because daddy did.
Yeah.
You know, boy, if you want to play the piano, I'm going to be right there in the room coaching
Right.
you up.
Yeah.
Press that E key. You know?
Getting it.
So same thing with my daughter. You know, different things she likes. I just tell her, whatever you do, make sure you go 100%, do it all the way.
Yeah.
There's a quote I remember when I was at the University of Notre Dame. It was a quote in the weight room. It said, "What you gave today, you have. What you did not give, you've lost forever." Mm-hmm. So, like, that was my approach going into the weight room, into practice. Carry that on into the league.
Right.
Same thing, you're doing business, in the corporate world, even doing something simple as talking to some youth.
Right.
Don't mess this up.
Mm-hmm.
With my position now with the YMCA, I'm a director for the after-school programs. There's like 26 of them in Hillsborough County. Mm-hmm. But I have an opportunity to touch all these elementary schools and all these parents. Naturally, they'll look to you because you former athlete.
Right.
So anything you say that come out your mouth is going to be real. So I can take that and use that to my advantage.
Yeah.
Where I can tell you probably the same thing your mother's telling you or your father's telling you, but you'll listen and receive it from me just because of my place in society, So then, just taking advantage of the opportunity and using that for good, and not bad.
And it's funny how God can work that out. The mama and daddy could say the same thing, but he put somebody where you trying to go say it. You like, oh, boy, I got to do it. Mama like, bro, I've been saying that.
Right.
But on the side note to that, man, how did it feel going to the NFL? Like, well, you already played at Notre Dame, so you had the big time of the big time, but then to actually accomplish the goal, to hit the dream, how did that feel to you?
So my background from West Philadelphia, right? And
born and raised.
Right there on 56th Street, Lansdowne Avenue, right down the street from Overbrook.
Yeah.
High school. But for me, going to the league was, it's like a challenge. Like, you read old Spartan stories of Roman about Troy. Mm-hmm. They came on the beach, they burned their ships. Mm-hmm. So the mindset is I'm not going home.
Right.
It's either now or never. But I didn't become a pro when I signed a contract. I became a pro in college, in my approach.
Right.
I heard the young man that was speaking earlier. I was in the back room, and I heard him. He said something about, what are you going to do to separate yourself from everybody else? Mm-hmm. So for me, it's my wits, my Philly wits. It's my hard work. It's my education.
Right.
So how can I use these things? Because when you get to the league, everybody big, fast, and strong.
Right.
That's not it.
Yeah.
It ain't your physicality. Mm-hmm. To a certain degree, yes, you do got to play by your strengths.
Right.
And strengthen your weaknesses, whether to be exposed.
Yeah.
But what's going to separate you from everyone else? And what separated me was, as a wide receiver, I knew every position on the field. Mm-hmm. Whether it was a halfback motioning into the slot to become a wide receiver, whether it was a tight end bumping out to be a wide receiver, I knew every person who was going for a route, every play, every formation. Oh. So when somebody go down, coach say, oh, I need an X, I need an H, I need a Z. Boom.
Yeah.
Hands up. And I know the play.
Right.
So for me, that was my separation. Mm-hmm. Then it was like my dieting. What am I going to do to change my diet? Mm-hmm. Then it was, okay, y'all out here partying till 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'll give you an hour and I'm back at the house.
Right.
Rolling out on the foam roller, stretching before I go to sleep. Mm-hmm. Throw the ball up 100 times before I go to bed.
Right.
Sleeping with the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What can I do to get an edge? Mm-hmm. That's what prolongs your career.
Right.
You're going to take the extra 20 minutes and go sit in the ice tub. Mm-hmm. Or you trying to run out of here to get the happy hour.
Yeah.
Because you done flown something in.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's what are you going to do to separate yourself? And everybody has little things that helps them get better. Mm-hmm. So for me, going to the league was exciting because walking in the locker room is like, oh, snap. I seen this dude on TV.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I used to, watch him when I was a kid.
Right.
And it's real. You're in there with them.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you don't go into a locker room in the NFL and feel like, your SHIT don't stink, and that you the man, you have no chance at all.
You're out of there.
They call it cockiness. It's ultimate confidence because you're in a room of alpha males.
Right.
These are grown men playing ball to feed themselves and their families.
Right.
This ain't college where I'm just on the team or high school. I'm on teams just because I'm popular.
Right.
Or, I just want to be seen
right.
or treating it as a fraternity. Because a lot of guys do that. You're just on the team just because fraternal reasons.
Yeah.
These are men playing for their livelihoods. What woke me up my rookie year, I was in training camp with the Bucs. Mm-hmm. I was at the breakfast table, first preseason game. It was myself and another rookie tight end. I'm not going to say his name. Mm-hmm. We eating breakfast and had a rookie quarterback. We eating breakfast together. he got his playbook out, reading his plays, studying, hype. Yeah, man, I got my mom coming down, my girlfriend, my 2 cousins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I feel you. We reading plays, eat breakfast. Guy comes over who we call the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Taps him on the shoulder. Boom, boom. Coach said he want to see you and bring your playbook.
Oh.
Cut the morning of a game.
Oh.
Dang.
My jaw dropped wide open. I said, oh, wow, this is a business.
Right.
The flip switch right then and there.
Oh.
Mentally, you know. Mm-hmm. Now I see, okay, this is a business. And, you know, people ask me, oh, what was your experience like? Did you have fun? Of course you had your fun. You're young. You have access to things.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't in the confinement of your college anymore. You're grown. You have opportunity at your hands. You can have fun. But if you don't love football, don't try to go to the league.
Yeah.
Because everyone that coached to the league was the man at their school. Now you playing special teams and you was a starting receiver. You gonna run down on kickoffs.
Yeah.
Or you gonna kick off return, running down the block, a 6'3" linebacker that's 230 foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
running
crazy.
a 4.48.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have to do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you gonna do to sustain yourself? And are you doing this for longevity?
Mm-hmm.
So longevity-wise, that's what made me think. And then I'm seeing guys like Rondé Barber, Derek Brooks, what they do behind the scenes in the locker room, what they do to prepare their bodies for games, seeing how Allstott and Pittman and those guys, Simeon Rice, how they work out in the weight room.
Right.
So I'm taking all of that. I'm like, okay, man, he been in here 9 years. Dang, this is his 7th year. He look like that. You know, you start asking him, what you do, man? How you take care of your body? I'm asking Rondé, how you know I was running that route?
Yeah.
You know, just little things like that. You pick up, you listen to conversations, just like being a young buck, being around old heads. You listen and you got to be like a sponge for that longevity. But still maintain your confidence. And, you know, I feel like a lot of guys, when they get to the league, young guys, they're shocked of, I have no way to separate myself from anyone else except for on the field.
Right.
And that's where it shows.
Yeah.
You know, you may have all this talent in college, but you can't receive all these plays and all this play calling, you know, and all these audibles and all these different coverages and disguises.
Right.
So, and that's easy for me to say that to young cats too, is the game is more than what you're doing between those lines, is what you do in the meeting room.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of your time in the league is spent in the meeting room.
Right.
You get in there at 6:30, 6:15 to work out. Then you eat breakfast. You go wash up, get in the ice tub, the hot tub, go see the trainer. And you're straight in meeting rooms. Then you have a walkthrough. Meeting rooms again, you'll eat. Walkthrough again. Another meeting, then practice. After practice, you eat and you have another meeting. So you really only spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on the field, if that. And a lot of it is up here, you know.
Now, if you could, give us a little bit of your background growing up and how it was for you and who helped you to become the person that you are today.
So I grew up in West Philly, like I mentioned earlier, you know, right there in the inner city. I seen everything, heard everything. That's why I'm not big on people trying to portray themselves as like thugs and hard and all that, because that's people who live that life don't want that life.
Right.
That's not fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not what Hollywood paints.
Right.
But for me, growing up, had both my parents in the home, 2 sisters. My parents sent me down to a Catholic school downtown Philadelphia called St. Mary's. So I was like 2nd grade, taking the subway, the bus, the trolley.
By yourself?
Well, my cousins went too.
Okay. Yeah.
But we was little. We was 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
Taking the bus and the trolley downtown, you know, in Philadelphia. But I did that all the way up until 8th grade. But I mean, Philly was exactly how it was advertised. It's never changed. It's always been that way. I love Philly. Shouts out to the Eagles. In the bowl today. So family hit me up. They was excited about that. Everybody got their Super Bowl parties going on. But man, Philly, man, I love the food. You know, I remember playing in the fire hydrant as a kid on the block, girls jumping double dutch. I'm probably showing my age now. You know, chasing water ice trucks. Y'all know what water ices are?
No. Now I call them flips if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, with the color, with
like a slushy.
Yeah.
Y'all been to Jeremiah's Ice before?
We got a Rita's Ice around here. Well, I done been to Rita's Ice.
Yeah, so Rita's, that's water ice. We call it water ice.
Okay.
But it originated in Philly. Wawa's did too.
Yeah.
Wawa's originated in Philly, and man, just eating water ice and pretzels all summer long, and cheesesteaks, hoagies. I miss all that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, Philly's advertised. You know, I think everybody know what that background is and what that looked like.
Right.
But with my parents, you know, my mother, she was a operating engineer, so she operated heavy machinery, like on the construction yard.
Yeah.
And my pop, he's a probation officer. So, you know, they both blue collar, know the whole neighborhood. So anything I do is circulated immediately. So I didn't, you know, I stayed out of that. You know, my friends did what they did, but they kept me out of that too, you know, because they knew what I had going on.
Right.
But yeah, I remember getting recruited in college. For college, I was in high school. And you got all these coaches standing out, just walking through my block, knocking on my door, you know, or you know, not coming to get you out of class in high school. It was crazy, you know, calling you. My parents told me, you know, recently, they said, my dad was like, yeah, man, they used to come to my job, show up in limos and all that. I'm like, what? I had no idea.
Right.
You know, so a lot of stuff he would push away from me and not speak on it. Offers, you know, different things under the table. Yeah. Not to mention any names, but all that happened. You know, but my parents was like, you know, is anybody coming at you like that, they don't have your best interest in heart, so stay away from it. Right. And I did. And for me, I didn't know nothing about that. Even Notre Dame, I didn't even know what Notre Dame was. I never heard of it until like my senior year in high school. Yeah. And I seen the movie Rudy. It was around Thanksgiving or something, or Christmas or something. And I remember seeing the movie. I'm like, Notre Dame. When they sent me a letter, I really didn't know until I saw that movie. And you know, I remember certain guys, especially you know, in Philly, you got strong Italian, strong Irish community. Right. My Irish guys was like, What you mean? What the F you mean? You ain't never heard of Notre Dame? Man, you crazy? I'm like, nah, you know, it's just not my thing. I didn't care. I didn't care about that. I'm just playing ball, having fun in the streets all day. Yeah. Just a neighborhood guy. You know what I'm saying? Just that love to play ball. Because up north, it's not really back then, it wasn't a lot of football talent coming out of the areas. It was mainly basketball. Right. You know, that's really a basketball city. Play ball, it's basketball too for fun. But, you know, coming out, it was like a big deal. You got a tall brother, straight out the hood, wide receiver, Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to tell me, how come you don't walk around the neighborhood in your Letterman jacket? I used to be like, I don't want that attention. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I can be myself at home. Right. You know, I don't have to be on my P's and Q's outside of my neighborhood. Right. So I don't want that type of attention. And it's funny because really the people in my neighborhood didn't even know. Right. You know, that it was like that. Yeah. You know, that it was to that extent. But that's how I liked it. Yeah. You know, and just keeping it. Some people say you keeping it real, you keeping it grounded. No, I'm just being myself. Right. And I could be myself around y'all. But yeah, went to Notre Dame. I played 3 years under Tyrone Willingham. At the time, he was the first black head coach at Notre Dame. Had a successful season his first year. Went to a bowl game. I think we were like 10-2 or something like that. But then he had losing seasons, sophomore and junior year. I had suffered some injuries. Charlie Weiss came in. Also, my freshman year, I was featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated, catching my first touchdown against Michigan State. Yeah. And funny story, man. I didn't even know I was on the cover. Right. I had went into the locker room like that Tuesday, and I walk in and everybody's like, the older cats was like eyeballing me, looking at me. You know how you feel tension. Yeah. What the hell? You know what's going on? Whatever. I'll get to my locker. One of the junior wide receivers take a magazine and throw it on my lap. Yeah. I looked down, I'm like, and it was face down. I'm like, what is he doing? So I just keep getting my shoes, my cleats. I flip it over. It's you. I tell you, my eyes almost dropped out my head. Yeah. I remember like I said to myself, oh, F. Yeah. Because I know what that comes with. And man, I tell you, shade was thrown. You know, guys is hating. You know what I'm saying? For no reason. You know the reason. But it's like I have control over
who snapped that shot.
Right. That's not my fault. Yeah. But you know, just the attention that you get as a freshman coming in with a big school like that or winning record. Yeah. A lot of media attention on the head coach in the university. As an upperclassman, you would feel some type of way. Right. So, I mean, I understood it, but I've never been the type to, like, want to draw attention to myself. That's just my personality, you know, and even guys are like, man, you need to dance more. You need to do this when you score, make a catch. I'm like, for what? That's not me. That's not my neighborhood either. You know, that's just not me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've just always been able to maintain myself. My mom told me at a young age, she said, talent is God-given, be humble. Fame is man-given, be thankful. Conceit is self-given, be careful. So I've just that's always been embedded, you know, and I've never just been one to want to draw attention to myself.
Right.
You know.
Man, we just got some great information. And he almost got me thinking about certain things like, oh, you know, for when I played ball and stuff for my kids too. So, you know, there was some real intel on just growing up. And a lot of us struggles especially in the African American community, for young men, we, you know, for us guidance and seeing different things. And y'all heard what he was saying, you know, certain stuff he wasn't about. Fellas, and I know y'all watching that podcast, y'all know we play ball, man. We get your grind on, and he said he ain't gonna sugarcoat it, go work hard and all that. No. There's other things that need to go with that. So, you know, I'm so thankful for having him on today, man. And y'all go check him out. He got some highlights on YouTube and stuff too. I was just looking at recently. So, I mean, like for even the games and everything, and y'all will see it, man. Just go type it in, Maurice Stovall. It'll pop up. And I want to thank him again for coming on. And I'm going to leave y'all. I always leave y'all. Keep your head up and not down, or else you'll fall to the ground. It's the Life in Football Podcast. Catch you next time.